Good morning, everybody. This is Greg Herder with Hobbs Herder Advertising. I want to welcome you to my monthly coaching call. These are the coaching calls that we do every month, and the goal is to keep you moving forward so that you're using what you learned at the Gateway Seminar and are really making a difference each and every month in accomplishing your goals and accomplishing what you want to for your real estate career. We also do these calls so you avoid feeling isolated, like you're not the only one out there working on building a marketing-driven real estate business. Hopefully, we're doing these calls each month to also hold you accountable to make daily progress. I think so many times people get overwhelmed at the seminar. There's so many things to do, and they say, oh my goodness, I want to do it all tomorrow. And because there's so much, it seems like, they don't take a little daily progress step. And it's those little daily progress steps, making forward motion every single day, that makes a difference in making it actual happen. Finally, to give you new ideas on what's going on out there in the marketplace. But I am glad that you are all here, and we are ready to start our webinar today. Today we have a very special guest with us, and that's Priscila Rodriguez. Priscila is a wonderful realtor from Chula Vista, the San Diego area in California, and she's done an extraordinary job, and she is going to be sharing some insights into what her success has been over the last year. So welcome, Priscila.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So first of all, you've done a remarkable job. Before we get started today, what made you decide to become a realtor?
What made me decide to become a realtor was I was going to school, actually. I was going to school, and at that time, about 10 years ago, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be when I grew up. So things kind of worked out where I had an opportunity just to get my license. I thought it was going to be something, you know, what everybody thinks. You get your license, it's going to be easy, it's going to be quick. It's real estate, you know, it's fun, no big deal.
All right.
So I would say 10 years ago, you know, I ended up getting my license because I ended up having a son. So.
All right, so you had a son.
Yes.
Thought, gosh, I can have flexible hours, make some money.
Most definitely.
Still be there. So once you started selling real estate, what was the biggest surprise?
Well, the biggest surprise is, you know, there's a lot of paperwork involved, you know. Also, you know, real estate isn't as easy as it does look. You know, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of negotiations, you know, a lot of hats and roles that you have to play. You know, you have to be sometimes escrow, you sometimes have to be a title rep, sometimes you have to, you know, do the negotiations, you have to put yourself in the buyer, the seller's, you know, position, and, you know, it was in that light, I was very surprised, because I thought it was just show a pretty house and we could just move forward, write a contract, and we're done.
Excuse me. So one of the things that people often comment that surprises them is that once they get a real estate license, they are surprised at how hard it is to actually find clients. Were you surprised at how difficult it was to get clients?
You know, in my case, I got my license in 2003, so real estate was at its boom. So I didn't have that kind of challenge, just because, you know, it was a different market. It was such a different market. And I had the, I wasn't in the real world as how real estate is, because, you know, it was just a whole different time.
So it was easy, and that was a great booming time for real estate. So tell me, what were your expectations about real estate when you got into real estate? What were you trying to accomplish? How much did you see yourself working? What were your goals for yourself as a real estate professional?
As a real estate professional, when I first started, I was just kind of open. You know, I just wanted to, you know, go back to work. I was home for 2 years, you know, with my son. So then, you know, I wasn't too sure what to expect. Okay. So I didn't have, you know, a lot as far as like, okay, well, this is what I want to do. These are the projections. I had no idea. I wasn't in the workforce for 2 years, so I was just kind of, starting all over, and I was just open to what was going to be instilled for me.
So when the real estate market sort of crashed,
yes.
What did you do, and how did you adjust?
And I think that's where the turning point was, when the real estate market did crash. That's when I realized, because at that time I've already was introduced to Hobbs Herder. I was introduced to you guys. I was introduced into branding, into marketing, but at the time I didn't realize how relevant it was, because the market and the industry was in such different place. And then again, I was in my early 20s, so of course it all when you're early 20s making six figures in your rookie year. What do you need to do as far as like marketing? There's no need for marketing. There's no need for branding. And I have to say, like in the crash of the subprime market, when we start seeing short sales that we never seen before and foreclosures, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, you need to stand out. People are at a, desperate times. You need to differentiate yourself, because no one really knew where to turn.
All right, so tell me, why do you think personal branding is so important besides just standing out?
Well, it's just because people already know who you are. So when you brand yourself personally, they gravitate you for who you are, like what kind of essence you bring out, your character, your qualities, your attributes. They look for that and they like that.
So you built this incredible personal brand in Chula Vista, and you've been doing this now for 10 years, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. You've really established yourself as a well-known brand in the marketplace. What's the advantage of that? What's the payoff as a realtor?
As a realtor with other realtors, you get your offers accepted. Other agents want to work with you because they know that you take yourself seriously. So if you take yourself seriously, your buyers are serious. When we're dealing, especially in the South Bay, South County of San Diego, it's a lot of short sales, and we all know that there's nothing short about a short sale. It's not a 30 to 45 day escrow. You're talking about being with that agent for the next 3 months, or at least sometimes 6 months. So you want to make sure that that person does take this transaction just as serious. So in that aspect, that has helped me. For clients, buyers and sellers, they're very impressed with the personal marketing, because like I said, they see the brochures, they see the website, they know that I'm going to be able to get it done.
Now, you were telling me that recently you were holding an open house and people walked in and were recognizing you.
I just said my name, Priscilla, and they already knew my last name, which was funny.
So what's the value in that? I mean, what do you think that does to you as far as your credibility as an agent?
They know that I'm out there. They know that I'm, doing the latest and the best things as far as like marketing their home for sale. They know that I'm going to take it seriously, and we're going to get this transaction done to their benefit.
All right. So one of the things I love about your marketing is that all of your marketing has a consistent look and feel that's instantly identifiable as Priscila Rodriguez. What's the value in having that continuity in all your marketing materials, from your brochure to your house flyers to your direct mail, your email, your website, your Facebook page? Do you have such great consistency? What's the payoff?
People know you. That's the payoff. They already know that email, is coming from me, or that flyer is a house that I have listed, or they just already know what type of excellence, I guess, they're going to be receiving.
And to me, one of the big payoffs is that everything now is working together so that every dollar you spend in marketing is working to its maximum advantage out there in the marketplace. So tell us, you have a great personal brochure that tells your story How do people respond to it?
Well, they're very impressed because, I do have a background in loans, so, that's comforting, and, they could relate, that I do have a family, I do have a son, and I think they like that versus, a scary salesperson that's just trying to sell me a house or, just wants to, sell my house and make a commission.
Well, one of the things is that when people read your personal brochure, you sound like a real person, a normal person, somebody they can relate to. Now you come across in a very professional, high-quality way, but it doesn't sit down and make you sound like, here's all the 16,000 things I've accomplished. It makes you sound like a person, and so many agents tell me, well, I want to try and be as impressive as possible. And I tell people that building a relationship is more important than being impressive. Have you found that to be true?
I agree. Yeah, 100%, definitely. Because, of course, people want to know that, you are a good producer and you are very good at, negotiating. But at the same time, they want to feel comfortable. They want to have that trust. They want to, feel that they're going to be well taken care of. We are in the service industry, and we need to take care of our clients. And I think with the personal brochure, that really helps bring that across to your clients.
So how do people respond to like your property profile sheets that have your look and branding? One agent recently asked me, said, well, if I have my personal brand on the flyer on the property, I think my clients would feel like it's not promoting their house, it's promoting them.
Oh, I've never got that. Never. I've never got that. They actually like it.
I think that's one of the things that agents can do in their own mind. They overanalyze this stuff and stop looking at it from how real consumers do that. So tell us about your power cards and how do those work for you?
Oh, they've been working very well. Yeah.
So you have a direct mail farm?
Yes, but it's just my sphere.
It's your sphere. So
yeah.
It's people that you've known, you've met from. How did you put that sphere together?
Oh, it's from like classmates, it's from family, it's from friends. I grew up in the San Diego County, so my roots are there. So my sphere is pretty small. I would think it's not a huge database. It's like probably about 200.
So 200 people that you mail to on a regular basis, though, and you send them out just listed, just sold, market updates, other types of things like that.
Correct.
Now, how do people respond to all of the servicing materials that you use as well?
I would have to say the buyer questionnaire has been one of the best, just because it really helps me and them understand what they're really looking for.
One of the things people always ask me about the buyer's questionnaire is, will people really fill it out? What's your experience with that? I
had no problem. Yeah, they're excited. So of course they want to write in, their dream home and what they're expecting to get. And, it's been pretty easy.
And when you have somebody fill it out, do you sit down and review it with them? How does that process work?
Well, lately I've been sending them off. I've been getting a lot of requests for my relocation guide on my website. So from people in different states. So I've been sending the questionnaire to them, and they've been filling it out on their own, and I've been getting them back. So I haven't really sat down and been working with. Usually, since I work on such a referral base, I usually know my clients and what they're already expecting. So I've been using it more for my clients that I haven't established a relationship prior to.
So tell us about your special reports, and how do you use those, and how do people respond to them?
Oh, it's great. We live, you can find out all sorts of information online, but I think people really like the fact that, you're giving them a special report, and they find it very valuable. Very valuable because you're presenting a special report with the things that you feel relevant, because you could go online, you can find numerous of things, and they just don't even know where to start. And especially when you're purchasing such a big investment, a home. We're talking about minimum 200,000, 300,000. So, those special reports have really helped in that aspect.
So I think most people fail to realize that having something tangible in their hands gives the consumer a real sense of, oh, this is somebody I can know and trust. Tell us a little about what you're doing with YouTube.
Oh, with YouTube, I'm putting out videos. My recent one was an invitation to an open house that I was working on, and I just have different projects. Like I did one with a friend of mine that owns a flower shop, and we did that for Mother's Day. So I always try to keep it light and fun, just so people also know who I am and what I'm about. It's not just about real estate.
I mean, I think that's so valuable. I love on your YouTube channel you have a mix of listing videos with people in the community, and you did a video about what you're doing to help one of the local charities, an orphanage in Sandy area in Mexico.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
How do people respond to those?
They like it. I mean, people like to know what you're doing. It's sharing, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm just going to share what I'm doing, and maybe, people will, as far as an orphanage, I have a lot of clothes that Noah grows out of, and this orphanage is just for boys. So, I mean, and also toys. He gets a lot of toys for his birthday and Christmas, so he doesn't play with them. And I just feel like if those were gifts, I can't just, I don't know, I just can't just sell them or anything, or have somebody else sell them. I think they're intended for gifts. So I think there's a lot of people that have all sorts of things clothes that boys have grown out of, and I figure, this is something nice. There's people in need, and we just sometimes forget.
Well, I think that, to me that comes across so well in your video. I thought it was also interesting, you did a video with your assistant where you sort of talked about the end of the year, and you sort of reviewed your clients from the year, and I thought you guys had such much fun. And it's like, if I was one of your clients that you were talking about, I know I would have loved to watch that video. How did you come up with that idea?
I don't know. We were just wanting to recap 2000. I think that was 2011. It was just a good year. I think that was the year when I really, really was focusing on social media. I was really focused on social media. I was really focusing on, fine-tuning the videos and just putting a lot of context. Because, I think what happens is people get scared. People get scared oh, I've never done it, so they don't even know where to start. So, when it comes to social media, or with anything, the more you put it out there, the more practice you get, and the better it becomes.
Another thing that you've done very well is your email marketing. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things I love about your email marketing is that most of your emails are telling a story about a real client, either a buyer or seller. How did you come up with that?
Well, I came up with that because we're busy. I get a lot of emails. Everybody gets a lot of emails. So I figure, you got to make it simple. Make it simple so people always like a picture. You are buying a house, so in that example, my client purchased their second home with me, and she told her story, and I really, really respect my client for telling that story, because she went through a lot. And I figure, right now people need to be inspired. There's a lot of people that are losing their house in short sales and foreclosures. I think they even did bankruptcy, and she was willing and open to say, you know what, this happened to me 3 years ago, but here I am just purchasing again. And I have to say, my clients I do owe a lot to them, because they also are just as open as I am when it comes to their personal, life, I would think, and I figure that when it comes to email marketing, you just got to make it fun, make it pretty with a nice picture, and stories do sell. I mean, that probably hit home with a lot of people, and I just think that you always have to put positivity out there.
So how much of your business do you think comes from your email marketing activities?
I don't directly, probably, I don't know, I would probably say a good 20%, but I would not, I don't know, indirectly, because I do go to events and people are like, oh my God, I just saw your email, it was awesome. So I don't get a lot of like direct response from it, but I did win over a client because of my email marketing. He met with me, but then he wasn't too sure if he was going to work with me or another agent, but he's like, I wanted to work with you because every time you send off an email, he's like, you put the purchase price and you also say how much they got towards buyer's closing costs. And he's like, I really needed help with my financing and, for closing costs. He's like, I kept on seeing your emails and everyone was telling me, oh no, you can't get closing costs in this market. This market's a seller's market. There's no way you could get closing costs paid. And he's like, you're proving everybody wrong with your email marketing.
Well, one of the things that I like about what you do in your emails is, first of all, you tell a story, but then you actually put in the information that people care about, pricing information, details that actually do make a difference. So many agents tell me that they don't want to put that information, they want to force people to call them. Why do you feel like people respond so much more positively when you just freely share the information with them?
Well, one, it's public record, so it's information that they could probably find anyways. So I just put it out there just because, you can't hold back. I just don't think you can hold back. The more you give, the more you get.
I think that's such a great philosophy, and yet it's agents are so afraid of what they might lose if they share too much.
I guess that can happen, but I don't know. I have a more giving spirit, I guess.
All right. So tell us about your poster boards as well. You have some wonderful poster boards around Chula Vista. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with that idea, and how have those worked for you?
They've worked. I got a couple of clients just off my poster. I did it more for, this is the area I'm going to be targeting. This is my domain. I didn't do it so much to get like straight leads from. I wasn't expecting that. It was more for, okay, this is the area I'm going to be concentrated. This is the area I'm going to be known in. The funny thing is I do get a lot of, I get random text messages like from people I went to high school. They're like, oh my God, I just ran into your poster at the mall. Or, even like some families were like, oh wow, I didn't realize, Priscilla, you're actually a professional real estate agent,
Well, you are a celebrity in Chula Vista now.
So I'm like, yes, I'm legitimate.
It's one of those different things out there. So tell us a little about your website. I know you just recently updated it, and
no, you're currently updating my website.
Okay, so tell us a little bit how that has worked and how people respond to your website.
My website right now that you're showing is like 7-8 years old, and it still looks fabulous. Thank you.
Well, so somehow I guess I thought I had the new one, but so we're in the process of updating that. Now, what do people use your website for primarily?
Primarily, they're just there. Usually they sign on onto my guest book, and it's more like if they want to get to know me a little more. They could do their own home search as well. And a client I just met at the open house, they're like, oh yeah, I checked you out online and I clicked on all your little icons, like your Facebook, your YouTube, your LinkedIn. They're like, I really liked the way you market yourself. That's why we called you back.
All right.
That was nice.
So now you mentioned that you're getting some people asking for relocation kits from your website.
Correct.
What other types of information do people ask for?
Special reports.
Okay.
And then also too, I get a lot of phone calls from other agents, just impressed with my website that you guys created for me, just seeing if I really do exist. And I am an agent in San Diego, so I get a lot of those as well.
People just want to know if you're a real person. Huh?
Yes, yeah, but it's okay.
So how are you using social media as well as Facebook, Twitter, those types of things, and how do people respond to that?
They like it. I mean, it's fun. Social media is fun, and I don't think I've really dove so much as far as I can go into social media. I mean, considering that there's unlimited friends on your fan page, there's 5,000 on your regular, and I think social media is also always evolving, so you just always have to be somewhere present, and there's so many different social media outlets too. You got to see which one fits you and your personality.
So one of the things I noticed on your Facebook page, you and your assistant talk a lot, and then again, part of this, you tell some stories about your clients, that what you're doing with them, how things are going with them. How do your clients feel about that? Do you ask them for permission to talk about them on Facebook?
I guess I haven't really asked for permission. I think it's kind of funny. They already know, I guess, when they're working with me, because I did have a client that was when I asked to do another email newsletter, they were stating, oh, I knew you were going to ask for a photo and a testimonial. He's like, I was already prepared. He's like, no problem. So I think because I'm just open and honest about what I'm doing and who I'm with, and of course, if we're out house hunting or writing up contracts, I mean, I do ask. There's a couple of clients that are like, okay, I know you're really big onto social media. Let's just keep it, a little more private, and that's totally fine. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's an interesting combination. So tell me, how have you used your personal brochure, and what are the most surprising things or surprising ways you generated business with it?
I've used it, well, you replaced it as your business card, and it really does help because, people gravitate to you because they know who you are. And interesting ways that I've gotten business off it, it's almost like a resume, but in a more personal way. So I guess I got business just because, they could relate that, I do have a son, I do have a family, and I'm local. So interesting ways is that you would think it's not here are all the properties I sold, I've closed over 1,000 transactions, I'm a top producer. It doesn't say anything like that. It's just, you being real.
All right. So tell us a little bit about anything else that you're doing that you think is a little bit interesting or useful for us to know in your real estate career. And as agents listening to you, what advice would you give to an agent that's struggling, trying to build clients, build their brand? What advice would you tell them that they should do to really establish themselves?
To really establish yourself, well, you got to first know how you're able to communicate best. And I just found for me was the newsletters, your email blasts was the best for me. That and then a combination of Facebook. Those two is the way I communicate, and I communicate that way best, and people gravitate to that. So for someone that's starting off, absolutely utilize social media because it's free. It is time consuming, but it is free. You could reach a lot of people through social media, and there's different outlets. You could figure out which one's best for you. And then, just keep it fun. I think people will like that. People like to see someone, enjoying their work, and also, someone that's also interesting, and someone that's always keeping it fresh. And just try it out. Just try it out. I would say number one, just try it out. Throw out a video out there and see what happens. And, send out a couple of fun posts, and people will just see what kind of response you get and just go from there.
So one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how much time a day should I spend in social media? Like, people are looking for an exact number of different things. And so how much time do you spend each day posting on Facebook, creating videos? I mean, just if you had to sort of guess.
Oh, probably an hour.
Probably an hour, okay.
Yeah, not that much.
So you aren't on it like 24/7?
No, I mean, occasionally peek through it if I'm like, waiting for something, in line or, but I'm not sitting dedicated in front of my computer, for an hour at a time. It's so maybe 2 hours, just while I'm doing errands in the morning, just before I go to sleep, you can just do a really quick peek. That's about it. I mean, it's not really hard. I mean, just to have a presence there too. I mean, all you have to do is start, interacting with people. If they make a comment you like, just say great job, or I don't know, just start interacting, and I think people like that.
I think that people forget that sometimes it's simpler than what they make it out to be. They're so intimidated by it.
Yeah, you don't have to post like 100 times a day, You could probably post a couple of times a day or even once a day. But, as long as you're there and liking other people's, photos or comments or responding, I mean, that really makes a difference, just that's your interaction.
So what are the systems that you think have helped you grow your business most effectively?
Systems. Definitely make a plan. My plan was to send out newsletters like at least every 3 weeks. Also start doing my my power card. Do that another every 3 weeks. But you take it slow. I would say take it slow. When the market did crash and changed, the old way of marketing kind of did change as well. So it wasn't as cost effective to do those power cards. I first went into, social media, and then now I'm bringing back the old way of doing the real estate business because, we had to change, we had to shift. So I think any system that works for you, just do it. If you start with something, just finish it. And just being consistent, that's number one.
So you have a great personal assistant. Mm-hmm. What do you think the key to getting a good personal assistant is, and how do you utilize an assistant effectively?
I got really lucky with my both assistants. They're just wonderful, and I owe a lot to them. I would say utilizing a personal assistant, number one, is have them do things that, even though you might feel like, you need to be in control, delegate. I mean, delegate things that are not money producing tasks, things like, filing your disclosures or anything that, sometimes, you just have a control over, just delegate. They will be able to handle it, and, start focusing on getting those more buyers, start showing them property, also getting those more listings, doing the listing appointments, focus on that. Because I think as real estate agents, we start focusing on all those other tasks that sometimes we could really delegate.
So tell us a little about the personality of your assistant. She's done such a wonderful job, and to me, the two of you are such a great team, and yet she doesn't see herself as becoming a realtor. Mm-hmm. So how did that all evolve? And
like, as a real estate agent, in my case, I wasn't very organized, and she's everything that I wasn't. So she is organized. She was a lot more, having things, filed a certain way. So that really helped me out. In my case, I was more like, okay, let's go see it properly. Let's sell. Let's call. So no, she doesn't see herself being a real estate agent, because I think she sees me negotiate, and she's a little timid in that aspect, that it is a fine balance. You have to be firm but yet kind, and it's a lot of work.
Well, it's interesting because so many agents say, well, I'm going to hire an assistant. They want to assist and learn the business, and they actually hire a sales personality like themselves, where your assistant really does have the detail, the paperwork. I mean, likes getting things completed and organized, and isn't that outgoing sales type of personality. And I think that's so much more valuable as an assistant, and you get so much more productivity. And how long have you had your assistant now?
2 years.
2 years. So you've had stability, you've had somebody that, likes their job, likes working with you, and it's worked out very well. Now, what have you done to train your assistant?
To train her, it was, well, she does follow me, like, as far as, like, having the files a certain way. When we were at the open house, we did get bombarded a couple of times. So because she kind of watched the way I was, like, presenting the house, I guess it's more like watch and kind of learn.
Okay.
Kind of training.
Now
I think I just got lucky in that aspect where, when I first started working with my assistant, I told her I was working on my own system. This is a system, this is what we're going to try to do. I was still building it. So, she kind of grew with me in building our system together, that it worked for both of us.
Okay.
So she didn't come in where I already had everything in place and I had to train her. Actually, it was both a learning process that we both grew together.
Okay.
With.
So I know one time you brought her to a gateway, and how did she respond to that?
Oh, she liked it very much. Yeah, so she understands the philosophy now of, like, everything, the reason why, I'm doing the news letters, the reason why I'm doing the power cards, the reason why I have, like, my flyers with my pictures. So she understood. So yeah, that did help a lot.
So tell me about, how do you maintain work-life balance?
You have to take a couple of days off.
So do you work 5 days a week, 4 days a week?
I would say 5 days a week, yeah.
You work 5 days
yes.
a week, and what's your typical hours?
Typical, it just depends on what day of the week. I usually leave work early, like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, just because I take my son to his Taekwondo class. But I think it kind of balances out, like 40 hours, because sometimes I come home and I do a couple of emails and send out, a couple of contracts. So, I think with real estate, with like anything, and any person that's self-employed could do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you know what? You have to have that time for yourself and your family.
So, excuse me. So I know that you also not only work to sort of make sure that you have personal life balance, but you also exercise, take care of yourself, spend time with your husband, your son. Do you have a plan of, here's sort of how I do that, or how did that evolve?
How did that evolve? That evolved, I think that evolved in, the way I market myself, because now I'm not really chasing, or cold calling. When you do brand yourself personally in the market, you call people that are already warm to you, and you're not struggling as hard, I think. So I think that's the way it evolved. Even though this has been a challenging market, getting your offers accepted, getting short sales through in San Diego County, in the South Bay County that I work with, I think I've been fortunate that I did personal branding that helped me ease all those those typical ways of generating real estate business in the past.
All right. So tell me, how does your broker feel about your personal branding?
He likes it.
So how does your personal branding and your company branding work together?
He likes it. Yeah, it's...
Well, so many company brokers are concerned, gosh, if I let my agents create their unique personal brand, there's a fear that the agent is going to say, well, I don't need the broker. And and they're going to leave. And that's the big fear that so many brokers tell me that they have about letting agents do their personal branding. And your broker has seemed to embrace your marketing, what you've done, been a big fan of yours, supportive of you.
Well, I'm very fortunate. Yeah, he's very easygoing. He's very supportive. He does like my personal brand, but I've been with him for 5 years. So I think maybe it's just the way I do business. I mean, I have a good relationship with my broker. So, you know, I don't know how it is with other agents always moving from offices to offices, you know, but as far as like the brand with my my broker and me, I just think it's a good fit because, you know, he's a nice small boutique in the area that I'm marketing, and you know, we both kind of have the same values as far as like our family comes first. You know, we enjoy our business. He does a lot for the community as well. So, you know, for me, it's worked.
It's worked well, and I know he doesn't pay the highest commission splits out there, but I don't think that's what's really the most important thing to you. And it seems like you have really enjoyed your office, the camaraderie you have with the other agents, and your life as a realtor.
Actually, he's been a lot better than my other brokers as far as my commission splits, so I can't complain.
All right, well, that's always a good thing too. So how do you keep yourself motivated, moving forward, and excited about the future?
Well, when you're having fun, I mean, you just can't help but, you know, be excited about the future and just, you know, moving forward. When you have like, you know, when you start seeing that progress, you know, it's like when you start working out, you know, the first couple months might be like long and tedious, but once you start seeing results, you're like, ooh, this is exciting. You know, you can see the momentum and it's building and it's building and building. It's like, okay, well, I can't stop because it's just getting better and better and better. So, you know, once you start, just keep it up, keep being consistency, keep having your consistency, because then you're going to see that those results, and that momentum is just going to get bigger and bigger in your business.
So the marketplace is recovering. What is your predictions for the next 5 years?
My predictions for the next 5 years, yeah, it has been recovering, and that's a good thing. But as long as interest rates still stay as low as they are, I think we're going to have a great opportunity for a lot of people building wealth right now in real estate. So I just think we just got to get out there and, you know, seize that opportunity for these clients. You know, there's a lot of opportunity, and I really feel like now's the time. You know, and the nice thing is, even though we did have a crash in the real estate market, you know, I see a lot better agents, lot better buyers, you know, just a lot better in general, you know, going out there and working in the field.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for sharing your insights. What I'd like to do is open it up to questions from our audience. So if you have a question for Priscilla, do me a favor, go to the question box here and type in your questions for Priscilla, and we can see if she can answer them for you. So I see a lot of things about the audio, and hopefully it's all back, so that is good. So I guess this is a question about your assistant. Do you pay them hourly, salary, per deal? How do you pay your assistant?
Hourly, and of course per deal. Like, she gets a bonus. So
she gets an hourly wage, and then is it a big part of the commission, a little part of the commission?
It's per transaction, per file. She gets her Part TC fee.
Okay.
So.
All right. So I see some nice comments about this. How long were you in the business before you started with Hobbs Herder?
I started with Hobbs Herder probably about a year after I was in the business.
Okay.
And that's just because I was introduced to you guys indirectly through my aunt, who's a real estate agent, that had her personal brochure that I was very impressed with. So once I found out, who she got her personal brochure with, I was already sold.
All right, how long did it take you to start seeing results from your Hobbs Herder marketing?
Like everything, it took probably about 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, just to start seeing the momentum.
Well, and I think that you started seeing some short-term results, but it's been a number of years for you to really see the full fruit of everything you've done. And I think that your brand has really continued to blossom over a much longer period of time. And I always want people to think more long-term than short-term. So there's a thank you. As a new agent, what is the best way to learn the general process of real estate business? For example, the forms. Especially if your broker doesn't provide much training. So how did you learn it all?
Doing it. Just doing it. I was very fortunate. My broker didn't assist me, but I did have a good team lead that I was under on my first year. 1 or 2 years. So, he was a top producer, and, he wasn't that organized, but, he would go through so many transactions, you can't help but learn. So maybe you should team up with somebody that, is producing some volume, that can actually teach you, the transactions, because, the best way is by learning from someone that's actually doing it.
I think that's so true. I think that there's no substitute of actually just doing transactions. How much does your poster boards that you're doing cost you?
It costs us $295.
$295
a month.
A month. So I'm always amazed. People are always thinking it's going to be thousands, and when they actually look at it, it's much more affordable. How often do you make YouTube videos?
I haven't been as consistent recently, so every couple of months, but I should go back to like once a month. I need to do that once a month.
All right. So, what special reports do you give out?
I give out the 20 mistakes you need to know about to
the mortgage mistakes?
The mortgage mistakes, and then also how and why to buy in a buyer's market.
Okay.
And then how do you 29 essential tips to sell your house fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great interview to help people that don't utilize YouTube. What was the biggest obstacle to overcome?
My biggest obstacle, the biggest obstacle I would think was when we did have the crash of the market, because I wasn't too sure if I still wanted to do this business because it wasn't any fun anymore. So I think that's why I really started focusing on social media, because I wanted to have fun. And you have to celebrate, as small as you might feel a transaction is, like, okay, this person just bought a small townhome, you need to celebrate because it is an accomplishment. It is a big deal. So I just came from a market where I was selling really well, I was selling a lot of property, and they were selling, at higher price points. So, you're making a lot of money, and you're just no big deal. So the biggest obstacle was that the market did shift, and, instead of focusing on those celebrations, those transactions that were closing, I was still focused on, in the past I did this. And you just can't be like that anymore. You just have to move forward.
And I think that's such a great attitude, to realize that when the marketplace changed, you need to celebrate everything, every transaction, every client, and as prices dropped and we had to adjust, and that's the way the marketplace goes. Now, here's somebody's asking, what's a new relocation package that people ask for?
Well, they ask for a relocations package, so I send them a community magazine. I send them my personal brochure. I send them, depending, what kind of message they give me, I send them a special report.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and of course the buyer questionnaire.
And the buyer questionnaire. All right. In regards to learning the process, what if you don't have any clients? Do you think it's a good idea to offer to help other agents on their deal just to learn the process how do you advise people to approach this?
Oh, go to open houses, host open houses. You'll meet buyers. Yeah, those people are looking. I would definitely do that. Yeah, you could team up with an agent, but, there's people that want to purchase and they need your help. So start having open houses. You will get clients.
So the next question is, what social media outlets do you use now? Besides Facebook, are you using any other social media tools? Facebook, YouTube?
I've been getting a lot of requests off LinkedIn, so I'm going to have to see what's going on there. A lot of connections. So I have a presence. You always have to have a presence, in every social media outlet that you could possibly get, or at least the top 4. But consistency, it's been Facebook for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is, do you give out your special reports just when they're requested, or do you have some sort of plan to send them out to a buyer or seller?
Usually it's just when it's requested, or depending on, if it's relevant with the buyer or the seller's needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have run across a buyer or a seller that you feel like, they need this information, or this would be good for them, you'll send it your special report?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely.
All right. So, any other questions for Priscila here? And Priscila, first of all, I do want to greatly thank you for sharing your insights. And I encourage everybody to ask any other questions of Priscila. How would somebody get in touch with you if they just have a pressing question at some point in the time? And are you okay if somebody calls you?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Feel free to email me or call me. My email address is priscilla@priscilarodriguez.com, and my phone number, and I answer my phone, is 619-921-6154.
I want to thank you for sharing so freely here today. We would love your comments. Please go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Greg Herder or Hobbs Herder, and share your comments about today. Also, you can send me an email, and I will share any comments, feedback with Priscila, and I'm sure she would love to get those from you. And I see a few more questions that have just popped up. It says, I'm going to be in San Diego in a couple weeks. Can I come and meet you?
Of course.
All right. Next question is, in regards to what you just said about holding an open house, do you mean to hold an open house for a listing agent in hopes of getting the buyer?
Getting the buyer is one goal, yeah, for that house, but also getting other buyers. Everybody you meet is a potential client, and just always have that in the back of your mind. It's a potential client. They do want to work with you.
And you might check out the webinar on open houses, because it'll teach you how to maximize the productivity of getting things from an open house. The next question is really a comment. This is Greg and Priscila. Thank you very much for your time. I took the Gateway in Boca Raton 2 weeks ago and look forward to implementing the system. Great. Thank you, Caesar, and thank you for the comments. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to make sure that you are moving forward and using what you learned at the Gateway. The key is to realize that if you take small daily steps, you keep moving forward, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you'll have built your business like Priscila and be able to really enjoy real estate. I want each and every one of you to thrive and have fun in real estate. I wish you great success in the year ahead. Please send us your comments, feedback, and have a great year ahead. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.